Newsletters. Put out newsletters. I put out one every quarter. Jimmy, all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Isn't that an amazing presentation?
I'll be around here for questions.
All right. So first of all, thank you for this. I'm just going to take about 10 minutes to share with you the art of networking. On my journey, when I first met Tom, that was one thing that I was really bad at. And I got better as time went on. So I developed a system here, and we're going to go through with it fairly quickly. Now, it is simple. I'm telling you right now, it is simple. You know what? I like simplicity. A lot of mentors told me, take the complex and make it simple. So we're going to start with the PAR system. First is presentation. You come in here today and you're presenting yourself. We're asking about, we walked in, what was the first question Tom asked? Before the fire alarm happened. What do you do? We're explaining everything. That's so important. But I truly believe that begins with knowing what you do, what you have. So who has one of these things called a business card? Who has? Can I have them, please? Quickly? Have the business cards? Quickly? The reason for this, live networking here. Who has a business card? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Who else? Who has a business card? Okay. Okay. Is that it? Once? Oh, I got more coming out? Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Is that it? Going once, going twice, going twice. Now, I'm not doing this to put anybody on the spot, but this is what our cool thing is, teacher of the moment. Now, who did it? Who did it? Put their hands up. Okay. You still have a chance. You know that? It's not over yet. Still thinking another 8 minutes. Now, why that's such a big deal is that I believe in preparation. I truly believe that. You be prepared for the moment. When I first started networking, I had a card I created, had my name, my phone number, my email address. I went to business people to get it done. The lady says, well, you got to put a logo. I have a logo. I didn't have a business at that time. So I put my logo, my Aries sign, and did that. And what happened after that is, you're an Aries. I'm a Gemini, Sagittarius. Like, that wasn't the point of the card. The point of the card was to create engagement. Well, my sign was the engagement. So I really quickly realized that it was a great icebreaker. Now, why that's important is I created my invention started because of that, because it was a part where I had something to say. So the people who didn't get a card, you still can, because this is what you do. If you don't have a card, what can you do? So if I need someone who doesn't have a card, what could you do? Maybe let these guys answer the question for me. If you don't have a card, what can you do?
Give me yours.
Yes? Well, mine now this card is this card I have is from my book. The back is blank, or you have paper. So who doesn't have a card, what do I say? Here's a clipboard. Write down your card. Or you get a scrap piece of paper and give it to me at the end. Here's my information. Okay? So it's like, we're all MacGyvers. You know I talking about some MacGyvers? When you make a bomb out of pen in an elevator? Well, we're all that. So I still have a chance. You didn't give me a card. You can write your name and email address on a phone number on a piece of paper and email it to me. Or I can ask you for my card and email information. So there's always a way. So this is your billboard. This is your billboard. You know, there's Young and Shepherd. How many billboards are there in Young and Shepherd here? Tim Hortons, Staples. This is the most important billboard you have here. And this is a powerful tool. That's what I believe in a business card or info card. You can put a lot of information. So one of the things that I like is like this one here is a card just for my book. But in the past what did I put on my card? I put my LinkedIn profile. Anybody on LinkedIn here? Okay, you have a vanity plate you're allowed to put on LinkedIn. It's a little bit of a short form. You know about vanity plates on LinkedIn? You can put that on your business card. You can put your what? Your LinkedIn, your Twitter handle. That's why I put little signs there, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter on the back of my card. So we'll flip it over. Oh, just search for Jim and connect with me. Again, building your network, building your connections is important. I wouldn't build the list I have today if I didn't start by doing that. So really important about presentation, having a business card. Second thing is attitude. Attitude. What's the saying? Attitude is, what do you give up attitude? Attitude is what?
That was my answer.
What was it?
Gratitude?
Attitude is contagious. So the best thing about attitude is this. Give me the chair there. So I was at the gym. I work out. And sitting down, lifting the dumbbells, and there was a guy beside me. Of course, I meet people everywhere. I go, I reached over, and the guy was bench pressing 250 pounds. I reached over, shook his hand, and gave me a fish handshake. I'm like, sat back down. I'm like, did that just happen? Like, he's bench pressing 250 pounds, and giving. So I got back up again and said, excuse me, sir, can you just shook my hand, but really mean it? Boom! Like Arnold Schwarzenegger showed up. And I go, well, that's a handshake. Give my card back. Give my business card back. Now, that actually happened. Let's see. The reason is that what you say and what you do is reflective of what people look about you. Now, I don't think it gets fresh handshakes, but I believe that a good handshake gets you far. So if I meet you, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Everybody heard of mirror and matching? Anybody heard of mirror matching? So you're going to match your handshake. So if you do get a fish, you're going to match it with a fish. That's being respectable. Now I know that's a harsh example I just gave you, but that's reality, right? When you're talking to people, again, it's how are you? It's all about them. A little bit about me, but all about them. I can share the example with Tom about the airplane. I've had that happen multiple times. Where I've been on a long trip and I get beside the person, they're talking away, and the person in front says, why did my friend talk to you so much? This is a beep out of me. Like, because it's all about them. And it's a powerful thing to understand people's personality. You do it over the phone. Maybe you can do it over the phone. If you get good enough and start practicing, you can learn about it. People are smiling, people are in a good mood. You feed off that. So attitude's important. So the next one is response. This is where it ties everything together. So when I go networking, I do a lot of it, is I'm out to meet people. So I'll give you an example. So yesterday I went to a meetup group downtown, King University. There was a gentleman doing an hour and a half seminar on financial information. It was really good actually. And I walked in, said, how are you? And there's 3 people there. I asked, what do you do? One guy was a biochemical engineer, another lady was a nurse, and there was another gentleman who showed up after. I knew everything about what they did. Where are they? Why were they here? What brought you here? Oh, I'm supporting the speaker. That lady, she was a nurse. How did you get into that? Why do you like doing that? I said, oh, one of my early mentors was a nurse. She worked at Sunnybrook, one of the toughest hospitals to work with. And we got a conversation going. I mean, the room was warmed up before the speaker showed up. Why? Because I was doing that. And again, at the end, I said, would you like my card? And I give them a copy of my book. And they took it. So what it is asking these 2 questions. So next week, there's a big, great event happening. Have you ever heard of the Small Business Forum event? Next week's happening. Small Business Restaurant, you know what it's? Well, here's a flyer. I suggest you go. It's from 9 to 5. Go for a few hours. Go out there, meet people, network. I'm also an authorized local expert with Constant Contact. We have a booth there. I do some speaking for them. And so we're there to support. But again, what am I going to do all day? I'm going to go there just asking and listening. I've done this multiple times. A couple of years ago when I went, I met this teacher. He teaches at Monarch Park Collegiate. He brings his students every year to this area, to this convention, to learn about business life and success every year. Because of that meeting, I went actually spoke to school twice on networking, grade 9 students. And the thrill of that was the second time he invited me was I spoke for the Business Achievements event that the students put together, which I thought 6 months before that they were paying attention to what I said about networking, and I was truly blessed having that. So the PAR strategy is something you can do over and over again, and you all can be networking success. And I've had a chance to teach this for many, many years. And I've seen some great success stories. And I had a gentleman, his name's Jeff Durbin. He read the book, and he said, the chapter of the book, and he said, really interesting, really simplistic. I posted on Facebook, he goes, man, you were quick. And I go, oh, wow, it's a testimonial. Put it on there. But the last is what I want to, and it talks about what Tom was thinking about, is follow up. I met a client, a potential client, at an event a few months ago, and he has it's a massage business. It's a franchise that's starting here in Ontario. I went up to him and we had a great conversation, and I said to him, the social media, he says, yes, all my franchisees, I want to be set up understanding social media. I said, fantastic. When can I give you a call? He said, give me a call next week. So I called him the first time. Great conversation. He asked me to send him an email, some information about what I do. Did that. He said, when can I call you back? I called him back the following week. The past 3 days, following week. Called him back again. He says, who is this again? Jim Pagiamtzis. I mentioned the franchise show. We spoke about this. Oh yes, I've been on the road. You know, I'm signing up a lot of franchisees for this business. I said, that's fantastic. You said you're interested. Yes, I've got to talk to my business partner about it. I said, fantastic. So you're still interested? Yes, you tweaked my interest. And I go, I'll take that. I then said to him, when can I call you back? He says, well, I said I'll talk to my partner. I go, okay. I'm not sure you can do that, but I still like to speak after that. So this Friday, next Friday, is the next time I'm going to speak to him. So it's a lot of time, but again, I've asked a point of when to reach him, so the Monday, Thursday, Friday is actually very true. Sometimes you may leave it, this example, I left some time, but again, it's getting a result. I want to get a result at the end. If you want my services or not, you're interested, so what's the next step? So even if it's just a warm call, it doesn't matter. You're still following that. Very important to have, everybody has a calendar. Use it. Use that calendar. I did what Tom told me, plan out 90 days ahead. And I plug everything we need to follow up with. And one other thing I want to point out is, it's not all about phone call. See, I've written a book. I'm happy about it. It's called Get Connected in the 21st Century, and I have my business cards here, and I'll hand them out before I leave. The way I've made this book work is not that it's in print, because it isn't. I have some here. I have the first chapter here. Okay? If anybody wants one, it's $5 for the first chapter. Okay? But what I've done, I was telling Tom earlier, is I've leveraged, I've emailed it out as a thank you. I've written all the chapters are out, I broke them down. So I email out to people as I think, thanks for doing that. Here's a chapter of my book on networking, social media, feel free to give it a read. Guess what happens when I do that? What do you think happens? Someone say gratitude. What do you say gratitude? Gratitude? I'm grateful for that. I'm giving something in return. This art of reciprocity. You started by saying thank you, and you'd be surprised that I emailed the book out a couple months ago, a few months ago, and I get a phone call, and all because of that. Just yesterday, 2 days ago, I do some work with Trias College. They have a number at Trias College. They have a number of areas there, so I do some speaking there. And I've been meaning to get to the Toronto office. I did some speaking to them about a year ago, and I couldn't get in there because they had a lot of turnover. I literally was on the phone call, on the landline, called someone. I hung up, my cell phone rang. Hi, this is Dan Mayolo from Trias College. I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. Would you like to come and speak on October 25th? Absolutely. I'll send you an email in less than 48 hours and all that. She had my voicemail. She had my information. It just wasn't time yet. But when it came time, she called. So the only thing I'll take a little ahead of what Tom was saying is that they may hear your message. They may keep notes that you did call. When it's in time, they may call you. And I don't know what to do. Has that happened to you? Or because they took notes? Can I just add on that?
Yeah. One of the things I was thinking about as he was talking is that even when you call and you get a no, or you get the opportunity to send an email, what have you done? You've exposed your business to somebody who never knew that you existed. You've got to leverage those calls. You turn a sour call into lemonade.
Because yes?
I 100% buy into the whole social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on LinkedIn, I tweet,
Mm-hmm.
I have a blog,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a published author, I'm an expert in my field.
Yes.
My clients are small, medium-sized business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the worst people in the world for social media are? Small, medium-sized business owners. I would guesstimate that 80% or more of the people that I have tried to contact as small, medium-sized business owners know nothing about social media. Facebook, oh, I'm not gonna send anybody a picture of myself in my underwear. I'm not gonna tell anybody what I'm having for lunch.
Okay.
That's what small, medium-sized business owners think
Okay.
of social media.
Okay.
That's my biggest roadblock now,
Okay.
is, you know, I've got a lot to say, I have value to add.
Yes.
The problem is, I can't get the attention of the small, medium-sized business owner, other than picking up the phone and calling.
Okay. It's a valid thing. I'll answer it quickly if I can, because I'm respectful of your time. It's all about education. Okay? Leverage what you do. I'm going to be a little mean with you, sir,
Okay?
but change your vernacular. It's about can, not can't. I can attract those clients that want to use my services. If it's not the market, then get away. I've had some success when we've met business owners. It's been a little bit of a tough road, but I've evolved now into attracting corporate clients. But I have some friends of mine who are doing really well in that market. Because I asked, it's all about education, keeping them informed. I'm not getting much into constant contact, but it is about that.
What sort of business are you in?
I am the credit coach for small business.
Credit coach?
Credit coach. I create cash flow for my clients, reduce their credit risk, and take some of the process away from their day-to-day.
Okay.
My theme is, as a business owner, you have a lot of responsibilities. Getting paid on time shouldn't be one of them.
So what you do is exactly as Jimmy said, and that is that there's an element of education. Do you have to use social media to make your point, to solve a problem?
I do not have to. Let me give you an example. I live in Brampton, work out of a home office. There are 8,000 small, medium-sized businesses in the city of Brampton alone. Now, hypothetically, I should have 8,000 potential clients. If I call 8,000 customers, my chances of getting through are slim and none. Because small, medium-sized business owners don't take business calls during business hours. They work 24/7. So my difficulty is, how do I get through to them? For example, at one point I sent out 100 emails to business owners and said, I will offer to come and spend one entire day with you for free. That's worth at least $500.
In your conversation or emails,
Mhm.
have you ever asked a question?
Absolutely.
Okay. And there's got to be a question in there, there's got to be a question in, because what you're looking for is their pain point.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And you may have to go through a ton before you get one.
Mhm.
Okay? I agree with you. These people, and I've counseled a lot of them, you know, they do what they want to do. They don't do what they should be doing. That's why a lot of them fail. 97% of all businesses in North America are small businesses. 97%.
There's more than 1 million in Canada. More than
Oh,
1 million.
far more. 450,000 new businesses every year in Canada. 97% of those are small business. Okay, they're the biggest employers.
You have a question?
Well, I think to answer in a way, it's like social media is one type of marketing.
Yes,
I mean,
totally.
you can't just use social
Oh, no,
media. It's
I
a
agree.
mixture
Yeah,
of.
I agree.
Thank you,
So,
appreciate that.
yeah.
So it's a great question. I want to be respectful of that. So
Yeah.
one more thing I want to point out is actually my friend Bonnie Chan's here. And one of the things that I realize is also is the art of getting something in the mail. It's a fantastic system that I think is great, because one thing that I do with organizers is I want to thank my organizers for inviting me. So I was emailing my book. And I wasn't getting a response. I was getting some, but not much. So Bonnie has a great system about sending people a card. And why I like it is because it's actually a physical thing. People started getting in the mail. And getting into the holidays now and Christmas time, Send some people a card, a thank you note. It's fantastic. I'm sending cards to my cousins in Cleveland because they didn't send me cards for 3 years. I didn't have something in return. So yes, it can be social media, but also be something like that. So if you want to speak to Bonnie, she'll tell you more about that, how to leverage that, use it well, because I'm learning from her actually how to use it even much better myself. So in return, again to report, PAR, over and over again, and get good at it, and you can. And the follow-up is important, okay? Keep at it. If you know that you have a client that is interested in what you're doing, keep following up until they tell you no. So they say, don't call me anymore. Until it gets to that point, do it. I had a guy, I believe it was last store, I had a gentleman I met in January. I closed the deal in September. I called him and emailed him every month. We finally sat down in September. He says, finally, we get to sit down. I go, yes. Ended up getting a contract to speak for his organization in November. It was all worth it. It was all worth it. Keep it on my calendar moving forward. So it takes persistence and determination. But I truly believe if you take that and take what Tom says about getting to the momentum, get in the mall, I call it, you can all be a success in the art of cold calling. Thank you.
Sir, for Jim. You know, if you come across a stumbling block like that, like this, what's your name?
Ian.
Ian, if you come across a stumbling block like Ian does, where the door's not very open, if you did you get their emails? You have a problem getting emails from them?
No, you can buy a list.
Really?
On just about, well, I've got a list, believe it or not, that I bought off the net, of every single small business owner, name, address.
Yeah, but email?
phone,
Email?
And email.
Okay.
And website. And it cost me less than $500.
Wow.
That, by the way, that's for all of North America. Not just Canada, but the US as well.
Okay. What you do is newsletter. Do you know, I'm sure you know what the biggest problem of these people. Are you lending unwillingly your customers money? Because that's what 30, 60, 90 net never is.
The way I paraphrase it in my book is, you are effectively giving your customer an interest-free loan. So we're saying the same.
Exactly. And then, what is unique about Toronto in the world? The most diverse city in the world. Okay? So, the other thing, Ian, careful of the words you use. I used to teach English to Chinese, so I know a lot of them don't understand common words we use, common phraseology we use. They don't understand it. So be careful how you phrase. So if I was sitting there counseling with you, yes, I'd put something, I'd got a newsletter out, okay, and I would recommend that the emails, single, two-line message with a question. Are you financing your client? Are you giving them an interest-free loan? Okay? Want to know how to stop that? You know, I tell people, so Tom, what do you do? Glad you asked. I said, how would you like to grow your business by 10 to 40% with one phone call? How many here would like to grow their business by 10 to 40% with one phone call? Okay, I'm just an email, phone call, or a handshake away from helping you. Because it stirs people. Get a question that stirs people. They remember it. You posed the problem. You've hit their sore point. You put salt into the wound. And you have offered a potential solution. They will seek you out. There's another point I was going to make to, I can't remember.
And again, they will seek you out, and I've seen that where you make a good first impression. With someone, they remember it. They will. And for me, it's always been my energy and how I interact with them.
And by the way, you want to know if you've made a good impression? I went to listen to and did a brief speaking for one of Jimmy's functions. And all the speakers there sent me an email saying, I want to meet with you.
Yeah.
So do you think you made a good? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I just spoke for 5 minutes too.
Yeah,
so,
I spoke for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the last thing I'll do is, as I said earlier, I'm authorized local expert with Constant Contact. If anybody's interested in using a 60-day free trial for email marketing, you can email me and I can set you up with that. You need to only put about less than 100 people to the test, but I can set that up for 60 days.
Okay, the last thing, aside from cold calling, networking is the next thing that I teach people. I teach my college students. Get one of those tear-off things where you can make cards. Put your name, contact information, and your specialty, HR, operations, whatever. Because when you meet people, and go to places where you can meet people, because 90% of what you need to be successful is not published anywhere. You need to meet people, get them. All my gigs, I've never had to advertise.
So that brings me to a question I have about door-to-door sales. Like, is that still alive? Is it still recommended to just kind of walk into a
B2C,
business?
yes,
Okay,
because you get around the do not call list.
okay,
B2B, forget it.
yeah.
Okay, that's a poor use of your time. Door knockers, door to door, gives you about a 1 to 2%, or walkabout by Canada Post, very expensive, gives you about a 2% return on investment. That sucks. And if I look compare mine, let's say I average 30%, I'm on the low end of the scale, 30%, 2%, it's easy choice. Fine.
To add to that question, I have a question. So let's say, you know, I'm a massage therapist new to the area and I want to go door to door to introduce myself. So would the step be, and I just want to get clarification, is to pick up the phone first and then connect with them and say, is it okay that I drop in and say hello?
You said B2B, first of all, how are you going to call them?
Well, they're in the area, so I probably look them up, right? Like they're in the neighborhood.
Okay, what law are you breaking?
Oh, I see. So you're not allowed to, even though they're companies?
Oh, companies.
Yeah, companies.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Like
thought you
the
were going.
stores, you know, like let's say I'm in the neighborhood and I want a
Okay,
different.
okay, so let's play the video up. What's the first thing you're gonna walk in the front door? Who are you gonna see up there? The receptionist?
The receptionist.
What are you gonna say to the receptionist?
I would present myself as a new massage therapist in the area. I just want to leave some information.
What did she just do? She showed up and?
Cute.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Go with the question. In your opinion, if I can get your help here, in your opinion, who should be the right person I should talk to
Business
regarding boom, boom, boom? Get her to talk. Because if there's an issue or problem, somebody's in there, you got a competitor or whatever it is, she'll let you know.
In some scenarios, what I do is when I'm going to be going to see a particular client, and I know there's local businesses, I'll just call the local businesses beforehand and say, listen, I'm helping your neighbor out doing this. I'm going to be dropping by the neighborhood. Do you mind if I can have a meeting with you briefly after I see the client?
Smart move.
Yeah.
Why is it a smart move?
He's already helping someone.
Maximizing your time.
Exactly. He's going there anyway. It's not he's leveraging the one trip. I had a girl from Lenovo who said, and where was that trip? This was a York and Young, and Lenovo's office says, yeah, I made a trip out to Long and McQuaid out in Oshawa and came back. And I said, good thing you don't work for me, because I'd escort you to the door. So, somebody had a question, okay? Yeah, absolutely.
One of the lessons that I learned very, very quickly, and I don't know how many other people are targeting small, medium-sized business owners, but a lesson that I learned very, very quickly is small, medium-sized business owners started their own business because they wanted to run their own business. They wanted to make their own decisions. Even if those decisions were wrong, they were still their decisions. And the one thing they didn't want was a smart ass like me coming in and telling them how to run their business. They would listen to me and they maybe take away some of the advice that I gave them. But they don't want someone coming in assuming that they know better. Even if you do know better than they do. They don't like it if you come in and say, I know you have a problem with.
Okay, Ian, if I may?
Yep.
Two things. Number one, the reason people get into their own business, the one you mentioned, is number one reason. Money is number 5, okay, for openers. Number 2 is, how's your posture? You don't have personality. How many are familiar with Myers-Briggs disc personality here? Okay. Okay, that helps. and I teach that as part of my understanding human behavior. If you walk in any way, shape, or form, come across a very a dominant D male type, as we call them, D in disc, and you start telling them what to do, you're going to feel their boot right in your rear end, okay? And you don't even remember going through the door. Number two is how you posture, tone, and phrase the question. Sir, do you mind if I ask you, you know, I contact a lot of small business. Do you ever run into the situation where you're financing your clients? Yeah. How do you feel about that? Let him talk.
Yeah.
He'll tell you where his greatest hurt is.
Without taking up all the time, and I apologize. Interestingly, my very first client was someone that used to buy product from me. And I knew intricately what his problems were and why he was having problems. So unfortunately, I went in there knowing exactly what his problem was and how I could fix it. The problem was, in the vernacular, I pissed him off because I went in saying, I know what your problem is and I can fix it.
Yeah.
And he got defensive, even though I was right. He got defensive because he said, I don't want you coming in here as a smart ass telling me what I'm doing wrong. It's my decision to make, and if I decide to make the wrong decision and it costs me money, that's my decision. That's why I got into business, so I don't have to listen to a smart ass like you. Now, the next day he called me up and gave me $30,000 worth of business. But,
Because he calmed down.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, Ian, page 2. People skills needed in cold calling. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. You just broke that law.
Yeah, and my business coach tells me the same thing.
So then change it.
Yeah, I
Change
have
it, honestly.
Okay, one of the things I do with people I counsel is I tough love them. Because if I stroke them, I'm doing them a huge disfavor. I hope your guy's doing that to you.
Yes.
Because accountability. Somebody has a question?
I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, put my 2 cents into what you're talking about, because I have
Probably worth $2.
I have a background in public relations, and really it's all about how you present the information. So present the solution first, or how would you like to get to this point? I can show you how, rather than illuminating the problem. I had a similar situation at work where I was trying to implement a social media strategy, and the organization is quite traditional in its communications. So I had to really get buy-in. I had to show them why they needed social media. I had to show the outcomes first, and then I implemented kind of the plan to get to that optimal outcome. So maybe if you just kind of switch the way you're positioning the information, it might.
I'm learning.
I totally agree. What's your name?
Hind. Hind. H-I-N-D.
Hind.
Yes. Am I the first Hind you've met? The last.
You will be remembered.
Good for you.
That's good.
Try and do exactly what Hind said, but phrase it in a question to get them to talk. Because when people talk, they reveal stuff you can use. Okay? And the more you, the greatest conversationalist is one who says nothing. Try and be like that. The more you get people to feel comfortable, trust you, and talk to you, beautiful. Because they'll reveal the key to you getting business from them. And by the way, when Jimmy mentioned, ask people about them. Because people invariably ask about you. And that you learn from a book called The Secret. A movie called The Secret by Jane Byrne. Susan Byrne. How many have heard of that?
There you go. You can find it online.
5. Yeah. Get that book. It's the law of reciprocation. You want, I mean, the fire drill. I open the door, Jimmy walks through, go the other way, Jimmy opens the door for me. Because he doesn't want to have me owe him anything. He doesn't want to owe me anything. That's just a subconscious reciprocation, the law of reciprocation. You do for me, I do for you. I got another, by the way, I've been invited to lunch by a guy who went through the professional sales, the Society for Professional Selling, cash cow, in other words. And so he won, he was one of my students at Centennial, and he won the top award as going through the course, and so he won $1,000 with it. He says, Tom, I think I can afford to take you out for lunch now. Yes. Any other question? I'll take one more, otherwise, Jimmy, you good? Yeah, I'm done.
If they say, I'll call you back, you know, you want it, what do? Because you don't want to push.
You don't want to lose control. Anybody, what would you do? I'm going to let you guys. Because I totally believe in, I'm not going to fish for you, because you only eat when I fish. I'm going to show you how to fish. You'll eat for the rest of your life. Go.
I usually just say, if I don't hear anything back, I'll follow up in 2 weeks. I just ask them when,
Yeah.
Okay, ask him when, and then what?
and then
He says sometime next week.
depending what they say, then you know, it's a verbal wrestle, right? So if they say sometime next week, oh, okay, well, if anything, if I don't hear from you by Wednesday, maybe I'll give you a quick call on Thursday.
Okay, there's one word you shouldn't have used.
Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, people want to be led. If I yell fire, if you hear fire in here, and I go here, I know the way out, everybody would follow me. Okay, people want to be led. In darkness, he with the light is king. Okay, so yeah.
Well, it's all a call to action. You got
Exactly. And by the way, again, if I didn't mention it, networking is number 2. Go where people who can help you as well as you help them. And by the way, the barter system is alive and well. I use it all the time. I've had my house cleaned, my car washed, incredible. My fence done by a guy who wanted advice from me on how to run his own life, which
There's a great website called swapcity.ca to do bartering. swapcity.ca. Barter services on it. Swapcity. swapcity.ca.
And by the way, feel free to email me for the email for cold call samples, cold emails, and some articles. Okay. You go to my website is the same as my name.
Perfect.
And by the way, just to show you the power of Google, we're in North America, well, actually in Google. Google is global. We're number 1 or number 2 in cold call. We got a lot of business from the U.S. A ton of business from the U.S.